don't know if there's anything else.
Well, yeah, getting back to the whole point that this has been kind of a journey of discovery to find out what 208 really is, and how it could be used to benefit water quality. That was clearly the congressional intent, but the language of 92-500 is very broad, and so you really have to we really had to find out the hard way what 208 can do. Today it's as routine as a building permit in terms of verifying that a given sewer extension that's got a permit to install from Ohio EPA is being hooked into the correct wastewater treatment plant. And once we found ourselves with an updated 208 plan in the early 2000s, that has become fairly routine, and I think that's working as it should. But it was a difficult path to get there. As I was saying, when I started at Timacaga, something I learned fairly early on was that some areas were developing with sewers that were not according to the plan. It seemed to me that at a minimum we at least ought to bring it up to date and not worry about who is right and who is wrong and improving these in the first place. The sewers are in the ground, they are connected, that's done, let's move forward, let's not fight over the past. There was a lot of resistance to updating a 208 plan, however, partly from the administration within Timacog, because it was well recognized that what was happening with these sewer extensions not going according to the 208 plan was concerned with other issues that had nothing to do with water quality, primarily annexation. Through the the 80s and part of the 90s, not that much was done to update the 208 plan. Because we realized that annexation was a politically volatile issue, and if we got too involved with trying to sort out where the sewers were actually going, we could touch off a controversy and have a lawsuit. Looking back, I kind of hate to say this, but I think a lawsuit was inevitable and had to happen sooner or later just to resolve the issues. And it was finally resolved when the elected officials for all the jurisdictions in Northeast Wood County got together and did a deal, a compromise, on what areas would be required to annex and what areas wouldn't. And Timacog then used those boundaries to redefine updated 208 plan, and so really what came out of that lawsuit, as unpleasant as it was at the time, was setting a precedent on how Timacog would work with 208 in partnership with the local governments. There were definitely some good things that came out of that Perrysburg lawsuit. Like I said, it was unpleasant at the time, and everybody spent way too much money on lawyers. But because that precedent has been set, I think we now have a working system that local governments buy into and recognize the benefit of regional service.